Good morning on this beautiful sunny Saturday morning here in Gauteng. I thought I should go live onto YouTube and on Facebook and talk about what I'm going to do today, because it explains so well what the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance is all about. This morning I'm going to a Lentefees, a spring festival, mainly for Afrikaners in Benoni. And I will be sharing the message of the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance, that the land must be returned to the indigenous people, that we must share the wealth, that we must use the economy in a way that will empower the majority of Black and especially African people. I will also challenge those in that Afrikaans community to share the wealth of this country with everyone else. I will insist that the message of true restitution is absolutely essential, and that compensation cannot be avoided for those who were the victims of the apartheid system. This afternoon, I'm going to Pretoria to a very, very special function organized by Black African professionals to honor the People's Public Protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, and other African Black professionals who have been disregarded, who have been attacked and vilified by their own government. This is the reality of South Africa, where a so-called former liberation movement, the African National Congress, has been attacking Black African professionals, undermining them at the cost of the empowerment of the majority of African people and in favor of white professionals. So these are the two events that I am going to participate in today as the president of the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance. And I think the fact that I'm doing these two events deliver a very clear message that Areta is not going to cut its cloth in accordance with those that we speak to. We're not going to sugarcoat our message. The same message for the need for full Black and African empowerment, for the implementation of radical economic transformation, for a fundamental transformation of our economy, and especially for the empowerment of Black and African South Africans, who are the majority of South Africans, but who have suffered severely under apartheid and continue to suffer the consequences of apartheid, and who have been failed so dismally and disgracefully by this African National Congress, a movement that called itself in the past, and at one stage did follow the intention of full liberation, but that sold out. I've always maintained that the only integrity one has is to deliver the same message, the same political ideology, the same foundation of fundamental economic transformation, wherever you go, without adapting or changing that message. That is integrity. And that is what the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance stands for. I was visiting many years, in fact decades ago, a meeting of the Afrikaner Broederbond together with President Nelson Mandela. That meeting was held in Stellenbosch. And when we left the meeting, in the back of the car, I had a rather unpleasant argument with Madiba. I said to him, Madiba, I honestly believe that your message today, this sugar-coated message of a rainbow nation, of all will be good and well, love and roses and sunshine for all, is not one of integrity. You cannot deliver one message, yes, putting honey around the mouths of the leaders of the Afrikaner community, of the Afrikaner Broederbond. And tomorrow you go to the townships, to Soweto, to Guguletu, to Langa, and you deliver another more radical message. That you cannot do. There can only be one message, and that must be the message of full liberation, of full restitution, of addressing the consequences of apartheid, of the return of the land to the people, of compensation to the victims of apartheid. And that message, if you deliver it consistently and on an even-handed basis to everyone, regardless of whether they're white or black, will be a liberating message for all South Africans. So that is what I will do on behalf of the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance today. At that Lentefees in Benoni, mainly engaging with Afrikaners and white Afrikaans-speaking people, I will deliver the message of radical economic transformation. And that message and that empowerment to all the people, especially the majority of black and African people, will also be their liberation. This afternoon, when I share a beautiful afternoon with black African professionals in Pretoria, celebrating black excellence, and truly expressing our deep concern and outrage at the way in which this African National Congress government has failed, betrayed, and trampled on black professionals. The same message of empowerment, of true restitution, of the empowerment of black African professionals as part of the black African South African community will be delivered. So, if you see me there in Benoni at the Lentefees, when you see me at that celebration of black African excellence, understand that Areta stands for one and the same. And we will never deviate. We will never adjust our message to buy face. We will continue to deliver the message for full economic liberation and full radical economic transformation, without fear and without favor. A luta continua.